This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of Alien Romulus. I finally got around to seeing it. Yeah, I know Red Letter Media already did a full expose on it, saying that they didn't really like it. They liked about the first 30 minutes of it. And other people have said, either or. Nobody said it was great. Yeah, so, and the trailer, yeah. So what about Alien Romulus? Seems to take place between the events of Alien and Aliens. There was 75 years in between Alien and Aliens. Roughly 50 years after Alien, I would say. And it also ties into Prometheus and Covenant, and that there's an evil space research station thing set up in orbit of this planet that they keep mentioning Zeta Reticuli and LV-4-1, but it's not. It's some other planet, the mining planet. And they set up this research station there, and it's all Romulus and Remus are the name of the stations, which sounds impressive, I guess, because it's a name, because it sounds like Romulans in Star Trek. And yeah, they were named after the Romans and the Remans, of course, from myth. But why would the Wayland Company decide to name itself after a fallen empire from long ago? Doesn't seem like it would make sense to do that. You wouldn't want to call your station Romulus just because it fell. Rome is what's left of Rome is Italy and other places, but there's a lot of that theme in there. A lot of movies are exploring that theme. Well, there's remnants of it left. I mean, the United States is the Republican side is trying to make it back into a Rome kind of thing, fascism. Whereas on the other side, the Democrat side, they're trying to make it into more of a capitalist state, kind of thing. But that's. Yeah, so in the world of Alien, Weyland-Yutani, whatever, I guess after the events of Covenant, they got a hold of the alien facehuggers and stuff. Maybe that's where the ship was headed from Alien Covenant, and it arrived there at some point, and they harvested the two facehugger eggs and made more of them. Apparently, they made them faster and their growth rate faster and stuff, which is explained in the story. And so yeah, it's not a plot hole that the chest burster happens quicker, because the alien robot on the station looks like Michael Fassbender. He's crazy, and he's been ripped in half, and he's in there, and they reassemble him, part of him, so he can communicate. And why, I don't know. That was silly, but yeah, it's kind of implicit in the story. They were doing experiments on the black goo, and they used it to make a version of the black goo that was faster than the other stuff. So okay, fine. So that was in there. If that was at least in the story, in that continuity, okay, they can kind of do that. But anyway, so the story begins on the surface of this mining planet, and apparently all the technology's gone back to what it looked like in 1978 in Alien. They have all these click button things that light up. Mother means something, an acronym for the processing unit. There's other they've gone back to click switches and crappy video, and which is very charming and funny. I'm figuring that Prometheus and Covenant really should be in their own universe because they were more advanced looking. They were made later, but this one was made a couple of years ago This was being assembled during the writer's strike, it looks like. And yeah, there's a couple of cool zero-G scenes that they simulated. They were quite cool. Yeah, that was fine. There was a zero-G couple of scenes with the ship and the cramped spaces and all that is done effectively. There's an elevator scene and an elevator shaft that's weightless there, and another weightless scene that was kind of silly with the space acid floating around, having blasted the aliens. There's which played like a video game, incidentally. Yeah, it reminded me of the Dark Horse comics and the Dark Horse comics Aliens comics. So if that's what he's going for, he nailed it. You have to, cool. Yeah. So I keep saying but so there's a group of thieves on the planet. One of them has a robot brother who's a black robot, and they keep belittling him because he's an earlier model and he's inferior or something. Just kind of them being racist. Yeah, they're totally being racist. So they go up to these marauders who aren't really likable. That Red Letter Media is right about that. None of them are really likable. Go to this. They want to steal up to this. They want to go up to the station so they can steal the life pods, the cryopods, and then go to this other planet called Yiggle, like Jaeger, like. And they want to go there, and one of them is pregnant, and of course that's going to come into play later on because they're going to do an Alien 4 ripoff sort of engineer thing, and also they're going to have almost a Nephilim kind of thing, actually, I would say. So now harkening back to those two other stories, there's an asshole Aussie guy who basically something in the water guy from the meme that's gone all over the place. There's something in the water, something in the water. That's actually a very brief scene in the movie. I don't know why they're obsessed about that, but apparently they are. There's a lot of other scenes that are kind of goofy, like they find the half-dead, broken robot white guy, looks like Fassbender, and they reassemble him. He's not supposed to be David from the previous one. It's supposed to be some other guy. I'm assuming it's not him. It's some other robot, because that wouldn't make sense. The mining colony, all the people are dying from the mining issues. Weyland-Yutani is. What are they mining? They don't really say so much. Ore of some kind. The ship models and the ship designs are nice. A lot of that's probably CG, and so are the aliens. But there are some practical model and creature effects in the movie, so that's nice. Because if you go too CG, it doesn't really look good. Also, although things get ripped apart a lot in the movie and blasted and goo flies everywhere, and somebody says the F word twice, except for that, because the blood spatter scenes, when they show them, the gore scenes, they are rather subdued because it's one of those movies where it's dark and you can't see a lot of it. That also makes it a kind of a problem. It makes it PG-13, not R, even though it was rated R, because you can't see what's going on. There was some pretty gross out stuff. So yeah, if horror geek reviews it someday, it'll probably get like a 3 barf bag rating or something. It's not that bad. But yeah, I've no affiliation. So so they go up to the station, which is called Romulus and Remus for some reason. They go into the Remus part. So they find another alien robot, the white guy, Fassbender looking robot, mutilated, and then they activate him, and then they put the chip in the black guy robot, and he becomes changed into an evil drone. He's got to go and save the company and go to the other lab, so he helps them out, having downloaded part of the chip and changed himself. I guess he has to give command to let you go inside the chip or something, or vice versa, or not quite clear. Also, when the chip breaks at some point, a couple of times, he goes into a spasm just to reset him. At times, it's inconsistent whether they've reactivated him in a few minutes or not. It's a little inconsistent, but that's just editing. The scene the Red Letter Media complained about was there was a facehugger. So somebody gets a facehugger to the face, and the facehugger, they go back to the other side of the ship with him. So some time could have passed there, and it wasn't immediate. It was just immediate on film. I think that was just editing. So that's not really a conceit. That could be it's just edited weird, right there. Yeah, the face, or with the robot, the other robot that they activate on the thing that's controlling the decimated station. There's alien stuff and alien goo. There's alien facehugger things and running fast ones and everything, which are CG. There's some practical ones, quite a lot of practical effects from a lot of Russians and Indians in the credits. So yeah, but yeah, so there's haunted house story. They tried to do a haunted house thing again, like they did the first one. And I think they succeeded in many ways to do that. To go about doing that and the scares. It's not particularly frightening, though. Not like the first one. It's more like, okay, yeah, we've got some member berries we're going to go on. They were on about that. Although when they tried the member berries, they were like the dad jokes from the robots, so they were kind of like, well, would they really have known those? Yeah, like when the robot who's acting like Radio from Radio, more than Rain Man from Rain Man, when he goes, "Get away from her, you bitch," that's actually in there, and says it wrong. It's like, why was that in there? I would have not had him say that. That makes no sense. How would he know what Ripley said when Ripley blew up in Aliens? Is Ripley from Aliens from 20 years in the future? Did she see the logs of this station and go like, oh yeah, at the end of my movie I'm gonna say, "Get away from her, you bitch," which was a classic line from Aliens. That makes no sense. Why would they do that? I get that the pulse rifle's still working. That makes sense. Standard issue marine assault rifle. Sure, they would still be using that in the future. That's fine. But that line is like, doesn't make sense in the continuity of your story. Throw that in there. Just have him say "fuck off" and blow it up or something. Something else. That's not going to become your go-to line there. If one of them is pregnant from some jerk guy on the planet, she says. Of course, that comes into a factor later on. Who the final girl is not the pregnant one. It's pretty obvious. There were 5 people in the theater, but it's almost out of theaters, and so that's not a problem. But that's kind of all over the place. So they have to get off the station. They have to go to the Romulus part of the station so they can get the title, and go to the other lab that's activated, where there's conveniently a carryable canister of super space goo that's there, and that's where he explains. And if Red Letter Media was paying attention, they sped up the process of the black goo. They engineered better aliens than the aliens were. So they made them more powerful and faster, which was really dumb. I don't know why they would do that. Also, why wouldn't the people on the mining colony, the abandoned station that had been taken out, and go like, oh, we can't let anybody go there because it's messed up. Yeah, it's like there's no security on this mining planet at all. They don't care that they can like borrow a ship and fly off into space. It's a little screwy. But yeah, so the station's all messed up, and there's like faster aliens, I guess, because the David Randroid gave the station the technology between Covenant and this movie, Covenant and Alien in this movie. Like that was, why do you do that? And there's another version of him on the planet. It's supposed to be him, the goofy Michael Ironside's alien. But it's supposed to be Fassbender. Or it could be some other alien. But it's similar enough that you say, oh, yes, that guy. Why are the TV monitors suddenly older than they look now? In the other stories, why would they be all like funky and like just because video feeds are screwed up? Why would they be screwed up? I get it, half the station's fried, but on the other side of the station where it's not fried, the video feeds wouldn't be fried. Where's the atmosphere and stuff? And it's heading toward the rings. It's going to crash in the rings. Planet has rings around it, and it's a eyeball world. So the mining colony is on the side not facing the sun. So it's down on the other side, eyeball world. It's kind of clever. There are planets that could be like that. So it's kind of cool they included one. maybe it's supposed to be 65 light years from Earth. As far as I know, Zeta Reticuli is about 39 light years from Earth, so it's a little closer. So where are they exactly? Now, if they were going to make it somehow tie it into aliens, and the lady survives to become the mother of Newt, then that kind of makes sense. But it's not the pregnant one. They do bait and switch. The pregnant one, the alien, she injected herself with the alien goo to get back to the ship, and have the alien goo on her so that she could get back to the company, which was nuts. I think that was the one that did it. It's hard to tell which girl did it. Somebody injected themselves. And the fetus then matures into an engineer, a fetus, and then pops out of her, well, in the cryotube thing at the end, near the end, and they're in the cargo bay, and then, of course, yeah, that's the bait and switch, is there's an engineer alien that comes out. All sort of a Nephilim, where the Nephilim engineer had, the Nephilim giants, the many men had relations with human women and produced baby offspring. It's kind of like that idea, I think, is what they're doing. Because they also have Roman stuff like that with Romulus and Remus. Yeah, so that's probably what they're doing, because they were kind of doing that with Prometheus, with the whole Promethean fire and whatever. They were kind of doing that with like the alien goo and stuff. And apparently, an earlier script of Prometheus had the engineers having left Earth because Jesus was an engineer, which is ridiculous. Glad they cut that out. That would not have made sense. And then the second one, in Covenant, David, the android, shows up after being rebuilt somehow off screen in the cut footage by Shaw. Then he kills Shaw, and then proceeds to take over the engineer colony planet and kill all the engineers and make aliens out of them. Why did he do that? Oh, that's off screen. He talks about it in the story. Like, that's not how to do show not tell. That's just bad. That's bad writing. And that was Ridley Scott doing those two movies. Yeah, so he's lost it at this point. So we have, the engineer, giant engineer thing at the end, engineer/alien/hybrid, a la Alien 4 at the end, with the giant, it maturing way too fast because it got ejected and it has superpowers. Just do that. And she does the whole get in the spacesuit and blast him out in space nod to the other one. How did she get? Yeah, she gets back. Kind of makes sense in that universe. If she also injected herself with the goo, and then she's an alien. But yeah, I don't think she's related to the colony on LB-241 from the sequel from Aliens. I don't think so. I think it's just a coincidence, and maybe some of them do become that, but it's not supposed to be the same planet. On if it is, then oh well. It doesn't really. I think each Alien movie should be treated as its own continuity, even Aliens, because they significantly changed things by '86 and made it different. So they're all dead. Alien 3 just doesn't make any sense at all, and Alien 4 is the one to clone. That really didn't make clones. That really didn't make any sense. And and now he wants to do it. Rumored that it's only rumored that he wants to do an Alien versus Predator remake. But I always treated those AVP movies as Alien versus Predator movies as sort of a non-canon silly thing. It's not related, because really Alien and Predator shouldn't be. It's stupid. Yeah. Even if Predator Requiem was a little better than the first one. Yeah. So there's no need to do that. Go there. Yeah. So. Yeah, there are some member berries in it. And yeah, that's embarrassing to get away from her. Fine. That was embarrassing, but you figure the aliens like radio from radio, so he's like the robot. Protector guy. Actually, it was probably built as a sex droid originally. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you have a story that's. It kind of works, though, I think, as a haunted house kind of thing. If you just kind of shut off your expectations and go, okay, they're going to do this and that. You can ignore Alien 3 and 4. Just pretend they never happened. Then it works. You can ignore 3 and 4. Kind of like those Halloween remakes from 2018 and on, where they were like, oh, we're just going to ignore the other Halloween movies. with the shape and make him scary again, only to shit the bed with parts 2 and 3 of that, especially 3, and have it like, oh, it's actually this other guy, because you don't really care about Michael Myers. It's like, no, we kind of want to see what happened to him. Yeah. And my brief is that, yeah, it was fine though. The Alien Romulus was okay. It was fine. It was better than 3 and 4. In some ways on a par with 3, which ain't great. But I would say, yeah, it would have fit in there in like 1981 or so, I think. Yeah, back then, they were trying to make it look like that. That's fine. So I don't think it was all that bad, really. It was fine for what it was. Now, they did it in the comic books in Dark Horse. They had them attack the Earth. That's what they got the Alien versus Predator idea from as well. But they didn't do that in this movie. They really should. They should have a balls-out alien. And it's because Independence Day came out in 1996, and they're all, okay, we can't do an Aliens Invade the Earth movie because Independence Day in 86. Well, then they made a sequel, which was terrible, 20 years later, in 2006. So it's like a little over, 10 years later. Yeah, and that was terrible. So they could have, it needs to be, or it was 25 years later, I guess it was 2016. Yeah. Independence Day 2, 2016, I think so. Anyway, they should do it though. Let's have an alien movie done with an actual budget. This movie is kind of tanked, actually. It isn't making any money. No one's going out to see it. It's not even going to make back its $200 million, whatever it cost to make it. But there were some cool effects. There were some cool backgrounds. I didn't mind the ship and the station all thrashed and stuff. I didn't mind how they did that. They clearly thrashed the sick bay after they built it. That's fine. And then filmed the after effect afterward. How they got the other guy to move over to the other sick bay. Did they? Yeah, I guess they did do that. But yeah, the lab. And then I didn't. And their explanation for trying to make Prometheus sound cool kind of doesn't work, but oh well. And also you have the engineer thing. I like the idea that the goo up to the humanoid form in the story and the DNA thing is kind of like they retconned that a little bit so that maybe that planet that David trashed off camera wasn't an engineer planet. It wasn't the engineer planet. It was an engineer planet. But there were alien-like guys already there. And then this kind of retcons that and says, yeah, it kind of was. And the final form of the final form of the aliens is a humanoid, weird creature, hybrid thing, Nephilim type of thing, an engineer. So the goo actually is their goo from before. They evolve into the giant things. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, that works. So it actually is a perpetual creation thing. It created itself, and then it goes back and creates itself again. Maybe these aliens have been doing this for millions of years or billions of years. They've been recreating themselves with the space goo to do stuff. Does beg the question, why doesn't the Weyland-Yutani Corporation use it on the miners to make them indestructible? So they don't have to mine the rocks and stuff. They didn't think of that. Which is why they need to do the Kal Kat version, and just very similar to the Kal Kat version of Jurassic World, in that finally have the dinosaurs reach the mainland in the city and kick everyone's ass. Same idea, except more like The Siege, and more like a Battle LA, but with aliens. A better version of Battle LA. There's been a few of those Battle LA movies, and Battlefield Alien movies and whatever. But do one with the xenomorphs. Have the xenomorphs arrive. Have my idea for a story, because this one was fine. It was 3. It was fine. 2.5, 3 stars. It was perfectly fine, perfectly salvageable. It was definitely better than 2 and 3. I'm definitely better than 3 and 4. Not better than 2. They jump scares were kind of goofy, but the special effects were nice. They did a good job with that. So yeah, it was a thrill ride, funhouse ride kind of deal. A little too, there was a little too much stuff going on in some cases. A little too goofy with the anti-gravity was off, and she's like going out with the gun, shooting the guys, and then the space acid flies around. I was like, wouldn't really do that. And she was like in a video game going. Pew, 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 pew. Somebody likes the Alien video games. They wanted to make it like a video game, and it was. So there you go. But my idea for an Alien sequel, which they've never been ballsy enough to do in any of these Alien movies, they attack Weyland-Yutani Corporation. The aliens actually break out. That's my idea. They break out at the main company headquarters. And it's like a big old megapolis city thing on the planet. It breaks out. They'll call in the Space Marines to stop the corporation, to rescue the corporation planet. And the boss in the beginning is a guy who you think is the boss. It's running the whole thing. And the alien boss guy is like talking. He's like a talking head kind of puppet in the front. He's talking. And in the opening scene of my idea is he's going at it, and it's and it should be in the trailer, where he's like, yes, companies have great profits and margins that are really high and everything, and suddenly an alien xenomorph claw thing goes, whoosh, and his head just goes, and he falls forward, and then across the screen, and then the corridors are all racked with like human and alien blood and acid, and there's all super gory. There's like a alien zombie hybrid horde running around in the story. That would be awesome. Let's do that. And of course, the final boss at the end of the story is one of those Ripley clones, and it's Sigourney Weaver playing her. She shows up at the end. She says, I've been waiting for you to come and save me. Ha 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 ha. Ew, and then the joke is, the get away from a bitch line is set in reverse. She's all, and the hero guy blasts her. Or hero lady blasts her. There's your movie. There's your Alien movie. Yeah, right there. That wasn't in this movie. That would be way cooler. Now, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation is under attack. Send in the Space Marines. Ooh, and of course that scene from the Dark Horse comic books where somebody wrote in blood, Darwin was right, across the wall in the cafeteria. That's the scene in there, right out of the comic book. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, and then at some point there's like an engineer scientist guy just talking in English in there, and he's like, oh yeah, that planet that David the robot attacked, that was one of our colonies, it wasn't us. Yeah, you guys are assholes for blowing it up, though. So that's why we sent the alien xenomorphs to kill you all. Ha! They're all, oh, bastard. Oh, and throw in the Nephilim thing. Why not? Okay. So if the director of this movie would like me to write a script for Alien Armageddon, sure. But I kind of stole it from Dark Horse Comics. So the Baghdad guy, you know what? But yeah, it's like they're inspired. It's not, and if anything, Lion King is basically Hamlet. The original is Hamlet. That evil uncle kills the father, tries to take over the kingdom. That is Hamlet. It's fucking Hamlet. Yeah. So Alien Romulus, Alien Station probably would have been a better but more boring title. Alien Romulus makes it sound like there's an empire. So show the Empire, show us Alien Armageddon, do that shit. Alien World's End. Ew, the tagline could be Darwin was right, from the comic. Tagline was like, they're here, oh crap. Ew, Sigourney Weaver's in it. And Michael Fassbender's in it too, as one of the robots. Kind of like a fight. Yeah, he's the one that gets his head ripped off. I think that's who that guy was, yeah. No. I've taken over the corporation. It's mine now. Our profits are so good. Nothing's happening over here. Head flies off. Oh, shit. Security, get that xenomorph out of here. They're like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh, they send in the chick from Planet Yeagle to go save them. Planet Yeager. Yes. The Mark's Cards planet. Yes. Of course. They're going to go to the Mark's Card. They're going to Flodi. Who knew? But yes, not a bad story. The alien Romulus inspires other stories. Although that kick some assets type of story, but I thought of that years ago and made it a couple of other short stories, made it into other stories. That idea of attacking the corporate tower thing, seizing the tower thing, the heist kind of thing, was also done brilliantly in the remake of Judge Dredd as well. So it's been done. But yeah, Judge Dredd remake with the guy from J.J. Abrams' Trek. Yeah, the McCoy guy, Carl Urban. Yeah, this is so. Yeah, there's. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So Alien Romulus. It's worth it comes out on streaming. Watch it on Halloween. Yeah, sure. Probably more interesting than Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice coming soon. And also probably more interesting than Transformers 1, but we'll see. They construct each other. You know, I thought for sure the alien engineer beast thing that came out of the chick was gonna do that scene from that not Species, but the Dren one, the other one. He's gonna twank his own mother and make him an alien baby. Because he got on top of her and he like and sniffed her. It's like, oh, gross! It's gonna hump her. Ow! So they were referencing Alien 3 there with the dog one, which everybody thought in the audience that did. We saw Alien 3. There's a scene in which the dog alien knocks this guy over and it starts gyrating on it like, and of course that was at college age. We're all watching it in the theater, and I'm all, it's humping her, it's fucking him. The audience is like, "Ow! It's fucking him." It was like, it kind of was though. It was like the dog alien was like, so it's kind of the same idea. It was gonna fuck her. So the other one blasted. But then they showed its crotch and it had like no dick, so it couldn't fuck her. It was like a female, I guess, like a camera shutter thing. Yes, and I did see the alien butthole scene that they were talking about in Red Letter Media. They're going through the alien butthole, never do that. Yeah, there's an airlock, camera shutter airlock that was at one point they go up. It did look like a butthole. It was all red on the sides, like a space butthole, like a robot space butthole. Yeah, so it really did. And later on, there's like super advanced alien things that grow way too fast. And some of them that grow don't hang out. They must have destroyed the station at some point earlier, and it's a decaying orbit. You'd think that with a research station with this evil super stuff going on, that would have been security, and they would have gone up there and closed it down and taken the super stuff away. That's just sitting up there. Apparently the mining people are so inept that they don't care that they have a secret research station up there. And they not protecting it. They're going to let it be destroyed. Yeah. That was a little weird. It's inconsistent. But you figure Weyland-Yutani is kind of like the Resident Evil company, Umbrella, so they're evil. And they just don't know what they're doing. The highest level of their incompetence, the Peter Principle. In the original, it wasn't that the company was evil, necessarily. It's the Peter Principle. They were just the highest level of their incompetence. They'd found alien stuff on a planet, and they wanted to investigate it, and that's what started the whole thing. Which is inconsistent with Prometheus and the other one. Where did the other, where the facehugger, where did the engineer that they find, where did all that come from? From Prometheus. Yeah, it's a different planet too, LB246 or LB243. They changed the name of the planet. So the planet in the beginning of Prometheus and Covenant is a different planet. And then, of course, the alleged engineer planet. That isn't really. At least Scott later said, no, it's just one of their planets. And also, it doesn't make sense if they seeded the Earth in the beginning or something. Like, that makes no sense. It's likely it's some other planet that they did that to. And it would be too rapid anyway. Their evolution wouldn't match. Anyway, so that's Alien Romulus.